Charles Darwin once said that it's not the strongest or most intelligent that survives, but those who are most adaptable to change. Hey guys, you are listening to the Be Your Own Anchor podcast. I am your host Garima. For those of you joining us today for the first time, I am a chartered accountant and a corporate banker with 8 years of experience. This podcast is all about self-awareness and acceptance being key to achieving transformations in life. This is episode number 3 and today we are talking about letting go and adapting to the new. And I feel that many of you will resonate, so stay tuned. Social media has become a huge part of our everyday lives, but at some point there was this huge concern and fuss about time spent on social media sites and it eating away face-to-face time in phenomenon then termed as social displacement. Cut to today, where social distancing has become key to human survival, with social media playing a significant role in keeping us all connected, informed and motivated. Point is, life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. These changes can come into our lives as a result of a crisis or choice or just by chance. What is true today may not be so tomorrow, as most truths are context dependent. Problems arise when we stay hardwired to our own truths irrespective of change in context. Classic example of this can be seen in some large organizations and family-run businesses where the internal policies earlier did not support remote working, virtual conferencing or flexible work hours. But in the past 4 months, these organizations have been propelled into digital age, made to not tweak but rethink their business models to survive and thrive in the new normal forced by the pandemic. Well, more often we talk about letting go of the things we can't change or control. But my question for today is how to let go of the truths when the context changes. How to become more agile, quickly adapt and evolve in response to the changing circumstances. Join us in our next segment as we welcome Ms. Kalpana Khoth, Executive and Transformation Coach and NLP Practitioner, to take this discussion forward. Thank you and keep listening. Hey Kalpana, welcome to the podcast.
Hi Garma, thanks for having me on Be Your Own podcast series. Hello friends.
Our pleasure. So to brief you today, we are talking about agility in context to social media and remote working. We all are aware there has existed a divide in the past where certain corporates have beautifully adopted remote working and flexible work hour culture, while some have resisted, and this divide can be seen within a corporate as well. But now all organizations have been forced to change their mindset and work culture in order to adapt to the pandemic and have faced immense difficulty in doing so. So what is your opinion about this?
So we live and work in a VUCA, that is volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous context. In today's reality, where things are changing rapidly, all of us, professionals, employees, entrepreneurs, are having to work remotely than ever. Mm-hmm. This requires people to work more autonomously and be more self-sufficient.
Right.
In addition, matrix relationships where we must work together across our own and team boundaries is the new norm for many. Typically, giving you an example of today's pattern of online schooling. Initially, the teachers had a very high resistance in the change of pattern and a lot of difficulty. Subsequently, they got used to it. Yet I found children have easily adapted to online school because they are very flexible, tech savvy and have low resistance. And they have a low resistance in accepting and learning new things. If you look at the technological advancements in the last 2 decades, from email to SMS to various instant messaging platforms, from 2G to 4G, and we are on the advent of 5G, from desktops to iPads. We have seen ourselves embracing this change in the medium of communication, which has helped us communicate faster, more effectively, and improve the quality of our lives, relationships, and got the world more closer. Don't you think so?
Right, totally, absolutely.
Yet if you see, we have we are having a high resistance to change our level of perceptions or altering our perspective with regards to the use of digital platforms for remote and virtual working. This actually facilitates growth then remaining stuck in today's changing context, the post-COVID era.
True. So I would like to ask you here, what about you? Did you have any resistances? And also, since you're a coach where this intimate interaction kind of becomes necessary, how are you coping with this in your professional work?
So to be very honest, when I moved from my corporate life to being a full-time coach, I myself had a very high resistance to adopt to digital media.
Okay.
Especially when there was a lot of pressure in building your own brand on Facebook, adopting to Facebook marketing,
right,
and all that.
Right. It can be overwhelming.
Yeah. So then what I did is I upskilled myself. I saw the benefits my digital presence garnered. I did a couple of workshops. Mm-hmm. I became more adept at using it, and now I find it very simple and effective. I have been using Skype as a coaching medium. Even after the lockdown, I have done sessions on Zoom, even Google Meet later. And see, now I'm doing a podcast with you.
Right, and we're loving it.
Yeah. So, to make it simpler, let me give you an example.
Okay.
How a particular experience, behavior or event will have different implications and consequences depending on the context in which it occurs, okay? Mm-hmm. So now let's take rain as an example. Rain will be perceived an extremely positive event to a group of people who have been suffering from a severe drought, okay? But as a negative event for a group of people who are in midst of a flood or who have planned an outdoor wedding. So
right.
Rain itself is neither good nor bad. The judgment related to it has to do with the consequence it produces within a particular context.
Correct. So that brings me to my next question. So whatever we've discussed basis that, it's fair to say that these resistances somehow slow us down and make the transition harder for everyone involved, not to ignore the overall setback that is ensued. So while we do have companies like Facebook, Infosys, Microsoft, Twitter who are permanently embracing a remote first model, there continues to be other companies, or rather the leadership in some companies, who remain hardwired to their own truth even with the changing circumstances, that is the changing context. So why is the resistance there? Is there a way one can work to bring them down? Like in your case, for instance, upgrading your skills helps you adapt with much more ease.
So virtual and remote working is a necessity now, and it calls on all professionals to boost their leadership capability, whether they are in a formal leadership role or not. And building capabilities is like installing new software, upgrading your hardware, which enables you to quickly adapt and evolve along with the changing context. Some skill sets which need development to ease resistance would be presentation skills, technological skills, very important, personal branding and projecting yourself better. These are on the outer surface. On the inner core, I feel two skills need attention. One is relationship building. As virtual and remote professionals, you may be part of multiple teams and interface with a wide variety of internal and external stakeholders. And even though you may be working in isolation, your project success usually involves others. So you need to put your attention on key relationships. Currently, what's working and what's not? How will they thrive? The other area which needs attention, Garima, is conflict management. When working across distance and time, conflict is likely. This is one area that many teams struggle. And when things go virtual, conflict may fester as things are swept under the rug or ignored. This leads to a decline in trust, engagement, and relationships. So you need to ponder on what is your approach to conflict? What do you get triggered by? What is the team's default approach to conflict? Are there any hot topics within the team? What is being done to resolve these? What can you do? As you consider conflict and its resolution, what's important about the relationship? And finally, what outcome are you looking for? So I feel building on these 4 capabilities will definitely ease the resistance of organizations and teams to open up to a virtual and remote working space.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Kalpana. That does give us a lot of perspective and some important points to work on. So guys, let's all identify our own resistances and work on to upskill ourselves to evolve and prepare for the changing times effectively. Also, let us know if you would like us to make some tweaks or corrections in our podcast so that all of us can benefit from this collectively. You can write to us on beyourOwnAnchorPodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to seek some guidance from Kalpana directly, you can reach out to her on Kalpana Khote Facebook page. Thank you for joining us today. Keep listening and stay vibrant.